Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Walker, and I am going to be reading Chapter 2 of Letters and Numbers written by Zachary Hubbard. And the name of this book is called Letters and Numbers. And you can obtain this book written by Zachary Hubbard by going to his YouTube channels, either Gematria Affect News or Gematria Affect Sports. And under his videos, in the description of the video, you can purchase his book, and you can also purchase this hoodie, Gematria Affect News. And I believe there's other items you can purchase there as well. And you can go to his blog page. It's called Gematria Affect News. Gematria Affect News, and that's where he posts blogs every day. Okay, so I'm going to be reading chapter 2, and there's about 25 pages in this chapter. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the reading. But be sure, before I start, be sure to check out Zachary Hubbard's videos. There's a lot of great information in those videos regarding Gematria, but the book is where you're going to get more and more understanding of how Gematria is put to use every day. Okay, so chapter 2 is called The 4 Foundational English Ciphers plus Gematria and Geometry. Okay. In Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma, considered to be the Bible of Freemasonry, a text once only shared amongst 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemasons, such as Pike, much respect is paid to Kabbalah, which again is the source of the significance of the relationship between letters and numbers. Before we uncover the 4 foundational ciphers of English Gematria, let us warm up by reading an excerpt from Pike's famous text, which has been immortalized in Washington, D.C. in a statue of Albert Pike, with Morals and Dogma held securely under his arm. I think in recent days, a couple of weeks ago, that statue was torn down in Washington, D.C. Via the riots. But I think President Trump has requested that it be replaced. Well, don't quote me on that, but you can go and look that information up. But I know it was torn down, surprisingly, but to me anyway. But I think President Trump has requested that that statue of Albert Pike be replaced. Okay, so anyway, let me get back to where I was. Okay, here we are. Continuing. As you read, keep in mind, Washington, D.C. is not only the headquarters of the United States federal government, but also the headquarters of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry for all of North America. And once again, the city named after the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, George Washington. If you are not familiar with the Scottish Rite or their headquarters in D.C., it is known as the House of the Temple, and its exterior architecture features 33 pillars, each 33 feet tall. In just a moment, I'll reveal what the number 33 has to do with Kabbalah as well as federal government. As you read the excerpt that follows, notice Albert Pike says there are 10 ciphers, where he is referencing the ancient Gematria practices in relation to Hebrew, a 22-letter alphabet, same as the ancient Phoenician alphabet, the world's first, that Hebrew is based in, same as English. It is important to understand there is more than one way to decode a word from letters into numbers, and that each method is interrelated, which is why we are beginning with this passage from the only Confederate general with a statue in D.C. Also, for your knowledge bank, in base 8 counting, The number 22 is the equivalent of the number 26 in base 10. What we most commonly use for mathematical computation because of the 10 fingers on our hands. I'll cover the relationship between base 8 and base of Kabbalah. One is filled with admiration on penetrating into the sanctuary of the Kabbalah, at seeing a doctrine so logical, so simple, and at the same time so absolute. The necessary union of ideas and signs, the consecration of the most fundamental realities by the primitive characters, the trinity of words, letters, and numbers. A philosophy simple as the alphabet, profound and infinite as the word, theorems more complete and luminous than those of Pythagoras, a theology summed up by counting one's fingers, an infinite which can be held in the hollow of an infant's hand, 10 ciphers and 22 letters, a triangle, a square, and a circle. These are all the elements of Kabbalah. These are the elementary principles of the written word. Reflection of that spoken word that created the world. Wow, that's a lot. You'll notice he uses the expression trinity of words, letters, and numbers. As we covered last chapter, this comes from the opening paragraph of the book of Formation, the foundational text of Kabbalah that states God created the world with language by merging the letter with the number to make the word. You'll also notice he mentioned a triangle, a square, and a circle. These are instruments of geometry. And again, gematria is geometry within language. Very shortly, you will learn how our alphabet and the numerical coding system behind it pay their respects to this fact. But first, let us reveal the relationship between the word Kabbalah in both English and Hebrew, and how the gematria of the word Kabbalah syncs perfectly with the names, morals, and dogma, as well as Washington, D.C. We'll begin by decoding Kabbalah. Okay. In Hebrew, the word Kabbalah is expressed as follows, and they are Hebrew letters here. So once you obtain this book, you can read that for yourself. So Kabbalah is expressed here in Hebrew letters. Again, Hebrew is read from right to left. Please use this chart below. He has a chart of the Hebrew letters and their American spelling beneath it. Next to the letter that, it corresponds to. Okay, here we go. Okay, we will not cover the other 7 Hebrew ciphers, Pike references, because the purpose of this book is to understand the code behind English. There are already a number of books on Hebrew gematria, and what you are reading now is the first of its kind on what has been kept secret about the English language all this time. So this is where our focus and energy will be dedicated. Okay, to make sure the 3 methods are understood, ordinal means the alphabetic order. Thus, the first letter is worth 1, and the final letter, the 22nd, is worth 22. In reduction, the rules of numerology are used, meaning all letter values having a digit placement greater than the ones place are reduced in a single digit number. Notice how the 10th letter, Yod, in reduction becomes 1 because 10 is 1 plus 0 equals 1. Then the next letter, what is the 11th in order, becomes 2 because 1 plus 1 is 2, and so on. As for the traditional method, it is most the most commonly used Gematria cipher in Hebrew. And using the chart above is the best way to understand it. Having a grasp of the three most essential Hebrew ciphers, let's decode Kabbalah using this method. And so what I recommend is getting the book so you can know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to turn my iPad around and see that maybe I can show you exactly what it is he is referring to. So hopefully you can see, okay, like right there, the ones at the bottom that he has put into, he's decoded them, but they're Jewish letters. So I couldn't really make you understand what those Jewish letters are. And I'm going to show you also the alphabet really quickly. I'll get close enough so hopefully it'll focus and you can see that's what he's talking about. And those are the alphabet. And so that could be a little tricky for me as far as reading and trying to help you to understand exactly what is going on there with these letters, because I'm not versed in these alphabet. But you can also, there's nothing you can't learn now. Everything is at the tip of your fingers. Just go on Google or order the books that has the Jewish letters in there, the Hebrew letters. Actually, Hebrew letters are, what would you call, pictures. So they've evolved over the years. Okay, moving on. Page 19. Okay. With these three methods, there is a mathematical check to ensure our computations are correct. Each value, when reduced using the rules of numerology, will equate to the same single-digit number. For example, the ordinal value of 38 is 3 plus 8 is 11, and 11 is 1 plus 1 is 2. The reduction value of 11 becomes 1 plus 1 is 2. And the traditional method summing to 137 is 1 plus 3 plus 7 is 11. And 1 plus 1 is 2. Thus, all three methods reduce to the number 2. So we can be certain our math is correct as long as we put in the right numerical values for each letter. Now, using the English alphabet, let us also calculate the value of Kabbalah. We'll begin by just using the alphabetic order, and that's A is 1 all the way to Z's being 26. This method is traditionally called simple English Gematria or English Ordinal. For your reference, the English alphabet and corresponding number for each letter is as follows. And I'm going to show you that really quickly here, so you can see what it is he's talking about. Simple English Gematria. And so you can see the letters have a corresponding number to it. And you can also see how he's decoded Kabbalah and what its numerical value is for that word. But, take a few moments and look at the letters and its corresponding number. All righty. And that might be the last time I'll do that, because there's 3 other ciphers. And I may show that as well. So, moving on. All right. Simple English Gematria. So, A is 1, B is 2, all the way up to Z is 26. Okay, using the chart, Kabbalah sums as follows. Kabbalah, K is 11, A is 1, B is 2, B is 2, A is 1, L is 12, A is 1, and H is 8. So 11 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 12 plus 1 plus 8 equals 38. As you can see and verify, the word Kabbalah in both Hebrew and in English, using the respective ordinal ciphers, sums to 38. very much like how the four-letter name of God and the name God match in the English and Hebrew ordinal, as covered last chapter. Another fun fact about 38 is Washington, D.C., a very Kabbalistic city, is located smack dab on the coordinate 38th parallel north. For a bit more intrigue, let's also familiarize ourselves with the next most essential English gematria cipher, which is the reduction method, operating on the same numerology principle as the Hebrew reduction method. This cipher is also known as Pythagorean Gematria because Pythagoras, the Greek and the father of mathematics, is believed, I'm sorry, I'm messing that up. Let me start over. This cipher is also known as Pythagorean Gematria because Pythagoras, the Greek and the father of mathematics, believed the only true numbers were 1 through 9. In this cipher, J, the 10th letter, becomes 1 because 1 plus 0 is 1, and so on, same as Hebrew. All right, the Pythagorean Gematria. So, and this is where, I'm going to go ahead and show it because this is where you'll see that double digit letters have been turned into single digits because you add them together. So that would be the Pythagorean. And so, and he has some extra information there as well that you can ingest. And I hope that's not backwards when I'm showing that to you guys. I'm relatively new to doing this live streaming, and just bear with me, but we shall get through all of this stuff here. I just want you to understand the information. I want to present it as effectual as possible, effectively as possible, so that you can get a great understanding of what's going on. But anyway, Pythagorean Gematria. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, G is 7, H is 8, I is 9. Now, J would be the 10th letter, but since we're using the English reduced, 10 would become 1 plus 0 is 10. And that's how it's going to be all the way up to Z. So K would be 12, L is 3, M is 4, N 5, O 6, P is 7, Q 8, R 9, S 1, T 2, U 3, V is 4, W 5, X 6, Y 7, and Z is 8. Okay, moving on. It may be helpful to remember the groups of letters that equate to the same numerical value in this reduction method as well. These groupings are as follows. A, J, and S each equate to 1. And B, K, and T each equate to 2. C, L, U each equate to 3. D, M, V each equate to 4. E, N, and W each equate to 5. F, O, X each equate to 6. The letters G, P, Y each equate to 7. The letters H, Q, and Z each equate to 8. I and R each equate to 9. Okay. Using this method, let us decode the words English and Gematria. As will become abundantly clear, our alphabet is based on our alphabet is based on this same, I don't know why I can't get this sentence out. I'm sorry, but here we go again. As will become abundantly clear, our alphabet is based on this same Kabbalistic numerical system, just as the Hebrew and Greek alphabets that came before it were. English equals 5 plus 5 plus 7 plus 3 plus 9 plus 1 plus 8 equals 38. Gematria, 7 plus 5 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus 9 plus 9 plus 1 equals 38. What do you know? More 38. What makes the number special is the fact that when you break it down in numerology, 3 plus 8 becomes 11, the master number. If you're not familiar with numerology, it is the practice of breaking down larger numbers into single-digit numbers unless a number breaks down to 11 or 20 while being reduced, and sometimes 33. In numerology, 11 is known as the master number. 22 is known as the master builder number. Hebrew is 22 letters, and 33 is known as the master teacher number. These numbers are the most important of all, and we'll learn the reason why in chapter 5. In our Gematria decoding, the rules of numerology also come into play with the reduction method. In the chart above, we covered how K, the 11th letter, is worth 2 because 11 is 1 plus 1 equals 2. And V, the 22nd letter, is worth 4 because 22 is 2 plus 2 equals 4. As the decoder, you have the option with these letters not to reduce them, but instead use the value of 11 or 22 respectively. To make sure the point is understood, we'll compute Kabbalah using the two options. So Kabbalah is 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 8 equals 20. K is 2 in this decode. Now Kabbalah, when we leave it like this, 11 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 8 equals 29 because we left the K as number 11. We didn't reduce it. All right. No matter which method you choose, when you break down the numerical value of the word to a single digit, it will still have the same numerology. From the Kabbalah decode, with K as 2, the sum of 20 is 2 plus 0 is 2. And from decoding with K as 11, the sum of 29 is 2 plus 9 is 11, and 11 is 1 plus 1 is 2. If you use the ordinal method, the same is true. It too will reduce to the same single digit. Just as we decoded Kabbalah with the ordinal method and it summed to 38, 38 becomes 3 plus 8 is 11. And 11 is 1 plus 1 equals 2. Again, this language is mathematics, and mathematics is exact. So using these simple practices, using these simple practices can always check the accuracy of your work. Just like your teacher taught you long ago, always double check. For good measure, let's decode the word value. So value is 4 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5 equals 16. And in this decode, the letter V is 4. Value equals 22 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5 equals 34. And in this decode, the letter V equals 22. Value again is 22 plus 1 plus 12 plus 21 plus 5 equals 61 in Ordinal Gematria. So now we'll check. 16 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 34 is 3 plus 4 is 7. 61 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Good. All methods break down to 7. With the reduction method, there is one more rule you must be aware of. The letter S, the 19th letter, and it is the only letter in the English alphabet that has to be reduced 2 times to become a single digit. 19 is 1 plus 9 is 10, and 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. The other 25 letters of the alphabet will become a single digit with a single compression. Because of this unique feature in reduction gematria, S can be expressed as 1 or 10. Out of the three options with the reduction method, K as 2 or 11, S as 1 or 10, V as 4 or 22. It is the option with S that will be the most useful, but understand, just the same as with the K and V options, no matter if you choose S to be 1 or 10, it will not change the numerology breakdown of the word. Also, an important point is that if a word has a K and a V in it, and you choose to reduce the K to 2, then you should also reduce the V to 4. At the same time, if you choose to make the K an 11, then you should also choose to make the V a 22. If a word has an S, K, and V in it, it is okay to make S 10, but leave the K and V as 2 and 4 respectively, or to make the K and V 11 and 22 respectively. In other words, the choice for S operates independently of K and V, but K and V should be treated equally, either recognizing their master number qualities or not. If this is clear, let us decode. English using the S methods to ensure the point is comprehended about the numerology of the word staying intact, no matter what decoding path is chosen. So English would be 5 plus 5 plus 7 plus 3 plus 9 plus 1 plus 8 equals 38. And in this decode, S is 1. So now English, 5 plus 5 plus 7 plus 3 plus 9 plus 10 plus 8 equals 47. S equates to 10 in this decode. English, 5 plus 14 plus 7 plus 12 plus 9 plus 19 plus 8, 74. In the ordinal gematria, gematria equals 74 in ordinal as well. So each of the letters that I am calling out, so like E is 5, N is 5, G is 7, L is 3, I is 9, S is 1, H is 8. This is how you would do that. Each number that I'm calling out represents a letter. So moving right along, and I'm hoping that this is making sense to the listener. Okay, the number 38 breaks down to 11 and 2, same as the numbers 47 and 74. Now this will be my last mistake. I'm almost ready to delete this and start over. But here we go. Now, let's uncover the riddle with morals and dogma in Washington, D.C. in light of the Hebrew gematria value of Kabbalah, summing to 137. As we decoded moments ago, we will decipher both the title of the book as well as the name of the capital city using the alphabetic order, or the English ordinal method, which we learned first. Morals, the word morals, M is 13, O is 15, R is 18, A is 1, L is 12, S is 19. Excuse me. So that equates to 78. The word and, A is 1, N is 14, D is 4. That equates to 19. Dogma, D is 4, O is 15, G is 7, M is 13, A is 1. That equates to 40. Morals and dogma together equates to 137. So that would be 78 plus 19 plus 40, 137. Washington equates to 130. DC equates to 7. So Washington, D.C. as well equates to 137. Not by coincidence, they both sum to 137. Adding further significance to the number, the cornerstone for Washington, D.C. was laid on September 18th, 1793, a date with numerology of 137 as follows. 9/18/1793 equals 9 plus 18 plus 17 plus 93 equals 137. What makes this number special is it is the 33rd prime number, the master teacher, and one that is especially sacred to Masonry. Using the reduction method, Federal, Mason, Secrecy, Gnostic, and Order each sum to 33. So, and he has all these letters here, these words written: Federal, Masonry, Secrecy, Gnostic, and Order, and they all equate to 33. And as you become more acquainted with the ciphers and going on gematrinator.com and typing these words in using the 4 base ciphers, you'll see these numbers. You'll see how they equate to 33. So I highly recommend Derek's calculator, gematrinator.com, to type in these words and phrases that comes up. And the more you work with these ciphers, the more you begin to understand what has taken place and what has been taking place. Okay, moving right along. One more time, DC is named after the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason and is headquarters to the same secret society that's building in the same city. That building in the same city has 33 exterior pillars, each standing exactly 33 feet tall. For a little more, with 33 being the master teacher number, let us decode teacher using the same reduction cipher. It too is 33. So the word teacher in the reduction cipher would be T is 2, E is 5, A is 1, C is 3, H is 8, E is 5, and R is 9. So 2 plus 5 plus 1 plus 3 plus 8 plus 5 plus 9 equals 33. Wow. As was mentioned in the first chapter, the Freemasons are scholars of the Holy Bible and have no doubt had an impact on the English translations as well as the crafting of the English language itself. This evidence is in the very first book of the Bible, titled Genesis, which means in the beginning. Let us decode the name Genesis using the reduction method, the reduction gematria, and the meaning using the ordinal method. It is important to take away the relationship between these two methods, which are the most important out of all the methods you will learn, and which will be used most frequently as we progress. So Genesis in the reduction method, G is 7, E is 5, N is 5, E is 5, S is 1, I is 9, S is 1. So that would be 7 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 equals 33. So now we'll do this. In the beginning, I is 9, N is 14. The word the, T is 20, H is 8, E is 5. And that 20 plus 8 plus 5 equals 33. 9 plus 14, 23. The word in. Beginning. So beginning, B is 2, E is 5, G is 7, I is 9, N is 14, N is 14, I is 9, N is 14, G is 7. And that equates to 81. So in the beginning, that sentence, when you add that phrase, when you add 23 plus 33 plus 81, it equates to 137. So that phrase in the beginning, 137 in the ordinal. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Genesis equals 33. The amount of synchronicities within the language is mind-boggling, and this will become thoroughly understood as we advance. For example, if we decode alt, with ordinal, it sums to 33. If you decode alternate with the reduction cipher, it too equates to 33. Continuing on the path, show you the incredible tribute to geometry within decoding of English. Before doing that, please rewind your mind to your days in middle school mathematics or possibly high school when you were taking your introductory geometry class. You likely remember drawing many lines, plotting several dots, and composing many circles. You will likely also recall pi, the number expressed most often as 3.14, the first three digits of at least 2.7 trillion digits, which make up the entire number. Amazing. If you have forgotten pi, it is commonly used to find the area and circumference of a circle. There's a mathematician's shorthand for finding pi, and it is dividing the number 22 by the number 7. Paying homage to this, if you have a PC and you type alt plus 227, if you have a PC and you type alt plus 227, it will generate the symbol pi in your word processing program. Notice how 227 are the same digits that are used in the equation 22 divided by 7. If we write out the phrase 22 divided by 7, it sums to 314, much like 3.14, using Ordinal Gematria. The math follows. 20 equals 107, because you got T is 20, W 23, E is 5, N is 14, T is 20, and Y is 25. So 20 plus 23 plus 5 plus 14 plus 20 plus 25 equals 107. The number 2, the word 2, TWO, equals 58. Divided equates to 57. The word by, BY, equates to 27. 7 equates to 65. So 22 divided by 7 equals 314 in the ordinal cipher. Same digits as 3.14. 3.14. 314. Same as 3.14. Okay. Equally as interesting, if we write out 360, the number of degrees in a circle, and calculate using the Ordinal Gematria cipher, it will sum to 227. Again, pi is most commonly used to unlock the mathematics of the circle. The math is as follows. 3 equates to 56. 100 equates to 74. 60 equates to 97. These are the words. 360. So 360 equates to 227 in the Ordinal Gematria. In 2015, a man discovered my work and was fascinated by these particular outcomes I was sharing publicly on my blog and YouTube channel concerning 22 divided by 7 and 360, which I had been teaching about since 2013. When these revelations first occurred to me, being the computer programmer that he was, he designed a test to discover if this was a coincidence or not. The way the test worked was by randomizing the 26 letters of the English alphabet a million different ways and determining how many different alphabetic orders would result in the phrase 22 divided by 7, summing to 314, and the number 360, summing to 227. What he discovered after numerous tests of randomizing the alphabet were the odds became 1 in approximately 8,500, a tiny fraction of a percentage point, a mathematical improbability, eliminating the chance of coincidence. If you would like to experience this test, please see his website, Gematrinator.com, and that is spelled Gematrinator.com. Gematrinator.com. That same site will load a Gematria calculator that will allow you to verify all the mathematics shared within this book. At my request, he set up the calculator with the same 4 base ciphers you are learning in this chapter as the default. It's funny to think the man who built it was once a critic of my work before discovering that what I was teaching was factual. He wasn't the first or last critic to come along since I began sharing, only to be persuaded to the truth of this code after applying and observing it, which is also my recommendation to you. Thank you, Zachary K. Hubbard. I'm so glad you wrote this book. I mean, oh man, it's just awesome. And I understand all of it just about. I mean, everything that I read and what I can decode now, because I do know how to do it. And man, it's just undeniable. All right. Now, having become familiarized with the 2 most essential English Gematria ciphers, let us learn the next 2 most important. Together, these 4 ciphers are the foundation of understanding the code behind the Numerical English. With these next 2 ciphers, we'll be able to examine the full geometry tribute within the Gematria of English. For our third method, For our third method, all we must do is turn the alphabetic order backwards. Thus, instead of A being 1 and Z being 26, Z becomes 1 and A becomes 26. For our fourth method, we reduce each letter of the reversed order to a single digit, with the same special rules for the 11th letter, the 19th letter, and the 22nd letter. In reverse, it is P that is the 11th letter, H is the 19th letter, and E is the 22nd letter. These methods are known as reverse ordinal or reverse simple English Gematria and reverse reduction or reverse Pythagorean. Please know that just like the forwards method, the reverse methods have the exact same mathematical checks where the outputs from the words using the 2 reverse methods will reduce to the same single-digit numbers using the rules of numerology. That said, only a word reducing to a numerology of 9 will reduce to the same single digit using the forwards and backwards methods. It is number 9 that is the glue. If a word has a gematria breaking down to 1 forwards, you can know automatically its backward value will break down to 8 because 1 and 8 sum to 9. If the forwards value breaks down to 2, then the backwards value will break down to 7. 2 plus 7 equals 9, and so on. So, and here I'm going to show you the reverse simple English cipher and the letters with their corresponding number, and reverse Pythagorean, also called reverse reduced. So I'm going to show you this as well so you can have a visual, and I'm hoping that it makes sense as you should. I hope it's not showing it backwards, and I kind of think it is. And if so, I'm really sorry about that, but hopefully you can make sure that you obtain Zachary K. Hubbard's book and read it So hopefully you were able to see that correctly. If not, I'm sorry. But as I get better at doing live streams and start to understand these programs and the different uh, things that I can use within the YouTube studio, then I'll get better at presenting the information to you. But I just think it's just so important that we understand and know what this information is. So here we go. I'm going to move on forward. So in reverse, the letter P equals 2 and 11. The letter H equals equals 1 and 10. The letter E equals 4 and 22. So moving right along here. Now, knowing the ciphers forwards and backwards, let's decode the word geometry. In addition, let's decode the plural of gematria, which is gematrio, spelled G-E-M-A-T-R-I-O-T, using ordinal. So geometry in the ordinal cipher equates to 108. Geometry in the reverse ordinal sums to 108. Gematrio in ordinal sums to 108. So geometry has matching gematria. Amazing. As you might recall, in the subject of geometry, symmetry is a very important concept. Here, the word geometry has perfect symmetry forwards and backwards, summing to 108, both directions. Notice 108 has a numerology of 9. 108 is 1 plus 0 plus 8 equals 9. And again, only words reducing to 9 using numerology will have the potential for this equality, forwards and backwards, which is quite rare. In chapter 5, we'll talk about the numerous things that make 9 very special. Even more intriguing, notice the digits that make up the value of 108. Look very carefully. Think deeply. The number 1 is essentially a line, a foundational object in geometry. As for the 0, it is a circle, just as important to geometry as the line is. And the number 8 is 2 circles having perfect symmetry within the single digit that it is. Alone, the number symbolizes the infinite, which numbers are, which language is. To think this is coincidental is to deceive one's self. Absolutely. Making matters even more interesting, the number 108 connects the sun, the earth, and the moon. It is said that the diameter of the sun is equal to 108 planet Earths, and the distance from the sun to the earth is the equivalent of the diameter of 108 suns. At the same time, it is said the distance from the earth to the moon is the same as the diameter of 108 moons. On a related note, yogis, those practicing yoga, do 108 sun salutations for every equinox, the dates when we reach those special measurements between the sun and the earth, making the changing of seasons. At the same time, those who practice meditation often count 108 mala beads, and those who practice Tai Chi martial arts complete what are known as long forms involving precisely 108 postures. As for the measurements between the sun, earth, and moon, they trace back to the Greeks, the first known civilization, to calculate the mathematics of these objects and distances. As you will learn in the chapter dedicated to the Greeks, Pythagoras, the father of mathematics, had a particular fondness for the number 108, which was found in a which was found in a triangle of interest, the golden gnomon. spelled Gnomon, the golden gnomon, where the obtuse angle is 108 degrees and the acute angles are 36 degrees as pictured. And so that was on the other page. But as a matter of fact, I can show you that. So let me give you a look at that. And that's the triangle that he's talking about. And I'm hoping it's not displaying backwards, but that is the triangle with the 108 degrees, the 38 degree angles there. Okay. All right. Now to delve even deeper, let us decode the words mathematics and circle. For mathematics, we will use the ordinal method, and for circle, we will use reverse ordinal. Please notice the overlap of 112 and think for a moment about this output. Mathematics, okay, that would be 13 plus 1 plus 20 plus 8 plus 5 plus 13 plus 1 plus 20 plus 9 plus 3 plus 19 equals 112 in the ordinal cipher. Circle in the reverse ordinal cycle is 24 plus 18 plus 9 plus 24 plus 15 plus 22. That as well equals 112. Okay, the value of 112 in light of the word mathematics is very similar to the most basic equation there is in the subject. 1 plus 1 equals 2. As I mentioned in the first chapter, the mathematics behind the language have to do with real world mathematics, especially those pertaining to time. Consider, we live in a world of cycles and circles, thus why the mathematics of the circle are so pertinent, and no doubt this being the reason for the synchronicity between the two words mathematics and circle. To the occult, meaning hidden, the circle is sacred. In reverse ordinal, sacred also sums to 112. As we will cover in the chapter on Kabbalah, this knowledge is connected to spell casting and witchcraft. Please know that these things are not necessarily evil. If you have ever read about witchcraft, it mostly pertains to casting spells that are intended to help people, from healing the body to bringing rains to fuel the growth of crops. In witchcraft, the very first thing a witch must do is draw a circle around the place the spell casting will be done from. Again, the sacred circle. On the subject, to show off our favorite base ciphers we have just learned, let's decode the words witch and broom to see what is uncovered. Before we do that, first know, historically, in the fall, witches would put brooms or rakes or garden utensils between their legs and circle around the field, singing and dancing to prepare the land for the coming harvest. Thus, where the relationship comes with the two words. This old tradition is most definitely paid tribute to in the English language and was anything but evil. To parallel it to Native American culture, it is much like a rain dance, which our history books have not associated with evil, unlike the witch. These differences in presenting information is what cultural programming is. Now, let's uncover the symmetry between the words mentioned, and that was witch and broom. So the word witch in the ordinal cipher equates to 63. Witch in reduction equates to 27. Which in the reverse ordinal reverse to 72. Which in reverse reduction reverse to 27. The word broom in ordinal 63. Word broom in reduction 27. The word broom in reverse ordinal 72. The word broom in reverse reduction 27. As you can see, each method generates a perfect gematria, plural for gematria, between witch and broom, 4 for 4. Again, gematria is geometry in language, and this is one of many beautiful examples of the hidden numerical symmetry between words having well understood relationships. In U.S. history, the English speaking nation that it is, we often learn about the Salem witch trials, where many were put to death at the behest of a judge. Most teachers don't point out that a judge wears a witch's gown, however. Absolutely. This is crazy. For a bit more fun, let's decode the word judge and the word gavel, the instrument a judge uses to maintain order in the court. Just the same as the words witch and broom, the words judge and gavel are perfect matches in all 4 base ciphers. The gematria calculations are as follows, and please feel inclined to practice your decoding calculation to compare with mine as we move along. Practice makes perfect. So the word judge in ordinal equals 47. The word judge in reduction, 20. The word judge in reverse ordinal, 88. The word judge in reverse reduction equals 25. The word gavel in ordinal, 47. Gavel in reduction, 20. Gavel in reverse ordinal, 88. And gavel in reverse reduction, 25. Perfect gematria matches. Man. On the subject of judges, and to provide some more relevance to the numbers we just decoded, in recent history, there was a big hubbub about a federal judge for the U.S. Supreme Court and his appointment by the newly selected Republican President Donald Trump, after the Republican Party prevented the prior Democratic president from appointing his justice of choice in the wake of the death of Antonin Scalia, February 13th, 2016. Please know that all of these mainstream narratives are nothing more than traps to divide the people of this nation. What is truly going on is organized theater by the numbers that is in tune with the Gregorian calendar. In the chapter on murder by numbers, we'll talk about the significance of Scalia dying at a ranch on the 44th day of the year, February 13th. The judge appointed by Donald Trump to fill Scalia's vacant seat was Neil McGill Gorsuch, and he was confirmed by the U.S. Senate on the date of April 4th, or 47, 4/7, something like the number 47. The ordinal value of both judge and gavel, plus being a highly relevant number to DC, as we'll get to. April 7th is also the 97th day of the calendar year, which is the 25th prime number, also corresponding with judge and gavel as well as Trump. Making matters even more interesting, in the reduction method, the judge's name sums to 88, just the same as the Republican Party, just the same as George Washington. Even better, using the ordinal method, Trump also sums to 88. So how appropriate he finds a judge with a name to match his and his party's, as well as the word judge itself, as we just decoded using the reverse ordinal method. Let us now calculate the other relevant 88 gematria values as mentioned. So, the name Neil equates to 22. The name McGill, McGill, equates to 29. Gorsuch, Gorsuch, equates to 37. So Neil McGill Gorsuch equals 88. 22 plus 29 plus 37 equals 88 in the reduction cipher. Let's move right along. Okay, now we're going to decode the Republican Party. The word "the" equals 15. Republican equates to 47, 47, 47. Party equates to 26. So the Republican Party equates to 88. 15 plus 47 plus 26 equals 88. George equals 39. Washington equals 49. George Washington equates to 88. Gorsuch became youngest Supreme Court justice at age 49. All right, Trump, Donald Trump. President Trump's last name, Trump, equates to 88 in the Ordinal cipher. On the subject of 88, you might recall the headline 88 retired generals on the date of September 6, 2016, just a little more than 2 months before the selection. If you write out 88 as a word, it sums to 69, which is the symbol on the top of the Masonic arch, as well as being similar to the date September 9th or 6/9. You can write 9/6. September's the 9th month, and the 6th day would be 6, but you can write September 9th as 6/9. As will become understood, the coded numbers behind the spellings of numbers as we know them are extremely significant. The word 80 sums to 38. The word 8 sums to 31. So 88 equals 69. 38 plus 31. In reduction, 88 generals on the 6th day of September. So that would be 6/9. For the record, the number 88 is known as a rep digit. Rep digit. REPDIGIT. A repeating digit. Rep digit. Meaning each digit in the number is the exact same digit. Thus, 11 or 11, 222, 3333, 444, 44, 555, 55, a whole bunch of rep digits, all the way up to 9, being a whole bunch of them, 88888, 999, any repeating digit. They're all called rep digits. Using the ordinal method, our most basic cipher, rep digit equates to 88. The same speed time travel occurs in Back to the Future. Again, 8 symbolizes time, thus 88 does as well. Rep digit equals up to 88. 18 plus 5 plus 16 plus 4 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 20 equals 88. And yes, if you noticed, I am using the word selection in regards to Trump, not election, because as you will soon understand, we do not live in a democracy where we choose our leaders. Far from it. Instead, we live in a Masonic dictatorship where we choose our leaders. Instead, we live in a Masonic dictatorship where all voting is nothing more than a predetermined spectacle, and news is simply propaganda meant to keep you in what is known as the American dream state. And all along the way, delivered by the code. And that is absolutely the truth. My goodness. It matters not who votes, but who counts the votes. When you snap out of it, you'll realize the president is an orange Oompa Loompa and the latest man in a long line of living puppets to occupy the White House, among other things. For a bit more intelligence on the Masonic dictatorship, let's decode the name Neil McGill Gorsuch using the ordinal method. And then I'll show you why the number 187 that is also coded within his name is so special in regards to Washington, D.C. and the selection of Donald Trump, which could not have been any more numerically aligned. Neil equates to 40. McGill equates to 46. Gorsuch equates to 91. So Neil McGill Gorsuch equals 187 in the ordinal cipher. As will become understood, the number 187 is mega important. It comes from the 187 chapter long Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, where the Kabbalah code resides. In Hebrew, the most commonly used name for God, Elohim, also sums to 187. In the Kabbalistic interpretation of the I lost my spot. Hang on. In the Kabbalistic interpretation of the name. Okay, so I really messed up that sentence. So just bear with me and I will reread it. In Hebrew, the most commonly used name for God is Elohim. It sums to 187 in the Kabbalistic interpretation of the name. Got it. As we learned last chapter, the number 26 represents God as well. And here is where the two numbers connect. Notice what happens when we write out 26. The number 26, write it out as a word. 20 equals 107. Sixth, S-I-X-T-H, equals 80. So 26th equals 187 in the ordinal cipher. Wow. The same is true if you write out the biblical phrase, I am the Alpha and the Omega. Consider the Alpha and Omega means the beginning and the end. With our base Gematria ciphers, the beginning, A can represent the 26th letter, and so can Z. The first letter is the first letter in Zeus, the Greek god, having named Gematria of 26 as covered earlier. So the word I equals, the letter, but the word I equals 9. AM, 1 plus 13 is 14. The word the equates to 33. The word alpha equates to 38. The word and equates to 19. The word the equates to 33. Omega equates to 41. So this phrase, I am the Alpha and the Omega, it equates to 187. So you would have 14 plus, you would have 9 plus 14 plus 33 plus 38 plus 19 plus 33 plus 41. That would equal 187. So when you go to gematrinator.com and you type in the phrase, I am the Alpha and the Omega, in the ordinal cipher, the very first cipher, you're going to get 187. It is amazing how they've used this code. Man, sometimes it just really pisses me off. But anyway, moving on. If you followed the Donald Trump campaign, he had his GOP convention in Cleveland, Ohio, beginning July 18th, and the date most commonly written, 18/7, 187. So 18/7 is how it's written in the world, which was precisely 187 days before Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2017. In Chapter 4, you will learn how both Ohio and time sum to 187 as well. But for now, using our 4 base ciphers, let's reveal how Washington D.C., George Washington, Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, and Society of Jesus each total 187. If you're not familiar with the Society of Jesus, they are the Jesuit order, and Donald Trump is a Jesuit. So is the current Pope, Pope Francis, supposedly the first Jesuit to hold the office of the papacy. Not by coincidence, from Donald Trump's June 14th birthday to the Pope's December 17th birthday is a span of 187 days. For your historical reference, where Washington, D.C. now resides, it was once the Catholic colony. Thus, why D.C. is located between Virginia and Maryland, something like Virgin Mary. If you don't know the history of the Catholic Church, oh, excuse me, they have been invested in world government. Just as much as world religion. And it is the Jesuits, the Masonic order within the Catholic Church, who are the ultimate authority of this nation. Recall, the Knights Templar once returned the Kabbalah code from Jerusalem to the papacy. Since that day forward, the code has been in effect. Now let's decode those 187s using our base methods. Washington equals 140, DC equals 47. So in the reverse ordinal cipher, Washington DC equates to 187. Okay, George equals 57. Washington equals 130. So the name George Washington equals 187 in the ordinal cipher. George W. Bush, he is born July 6th, the 187th day of the year. These are no coincidences. Oh my goodness, they choose people because of certain characteristics about them, certain attributes that they have, like him being born on the 187th day of the year. My goodness. Society, the word society equates to 93. The word of equates to 33. Jesus equates to 61. So the phrase society of Jesus equals 187 in the reverse ordinal cipher. Ancient equals 30. Accepted equals 30. Scottish equals 32. Right, R-I-T-E, equals 25. The word of equals 12. And the word Freemasonry equals 58. So the phrase or title, Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry equals 187 in the reduction cipher. In the time Trump has been in office, many papers and magazines have secretly paid tribute to this number, with cover stories and daily headlines. Out of all that I have documented on my blog at freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, my favorite to date is the February 16th, 2017 cover of Time magazine with the drawing of Trump at his desk being pelted with wind and rain, and above his head the words, "Nothing to see here." In the reduced method, "nothing to see here" sums to 88. And in the ordinal method, it sums to 187. It's also interesting to note that the date of the cover, written 2/16, as we express it in the States, is something like 216, the Cleveland area code, where he had his GOP convention. As we'll get to later, that's a special number in itself, the product of 6 times 6 times 6. If you've seen the Hollywood flick Pi, a film that introduces Gematria, it is the number the protagonist is chasing, as well as the Orthodox Jewish man who is trying to unravel the Kabbalah code. As we covered last chapter, it is also a similar, I think that's maybe a little mistake there. It is also similar to the 2,160 years that each of the zodiac spans. 2,160 years. Wow. So 216. So because in Gematria you ignore the 0. All right, one more time. The code is largely about time. You'll see. Please also understand that what I am writing about Donald Trump is true of every U.S. president, going all the way back to George Washington. The same can be said for the appointment and confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch, as well as every man and woman to serve the judicial bench of government prior. Everything, without exception, that is done in Washington, D.C., is done by this Kabbalistic code. Can't express it enough, and you're absolutely right, Zach. You're absolutely right. And yes, even Monica Lewinsky. This is the modus operandi Gorsuch without his middle name, using the ordinal method. If you do it correctly, it should sum to 131. And if you go back to look at the date Donald Trump nominated him for Supreme Court Justice, you'll see that it was January 31st or 131, which was 66 days before he was confirmed. Not by chance. Supreme Court using the reduction method and making S equal 10 instead of 1 sums to 66, as does Empire when you use the ordinal method. Same with freedom, also using ordinal. As you should be gathering, we're not free, but instead gears in a machine. At least we're perceived by the cabal. Let me read that over a second, because I'm messing that up. Okay, as you should be gathering, we're not free, but instead gears in a machine, at least as we're perceived by the cabal, holding this code over all our collective heads. Sorry, cabal, the cat's out of the bag, and the cats are about to be out of place. Absolutely. Sorry, cabal, the cat's out of the bag, and the cogs are about to be out of place. Hallelujah. Absolutely. Back to the subject of 187, an infamous number in hip hop music. Wow. Where it is routinely used to reference killing because of the fact that it is several state police departments' homicide code. Fraternal order of police equates to 187. Reverse reduction, where the E equates to 22 and P is 11. A very fateful thing happened to the office of the presidency in the United States. In the United States' 187th year of existence, on the date November 22nd, 1963. Man, I was born in that year, in August. That was the date of the JFK assassination, as it is recorded in history books. Would you dare guess the gematria of the title JFK assassination? If you said 187, you're on it. JFK equals 27. Assassination equals 160. JFK assassination 187 in the ordinal cipher. Of course, JFK was killed in the middle of Dealey Plaza, Dealey Plaza, but Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason on 11/22. So 11 plus 22 equals 33, 33rd degree. In chapters 13 and 17, you'll learn a lot more about the subject. In chapter 4, you'll also learn how JFK assassination equates to 11/22, something like the date November 22nd or 11/22. Again, everything that happens in relation to Washington, D.C., and I mean everything, is by this code. There are 0 exceptions. Nada. None. Absolutely. For one more relevant 187, before I show you what else you need to know about DC for the time being. There is President Richard Nixon, who Donald Trump has been drawing comparisons due to wiretapping claims, which you should know now are all news stories that have rolled out by this same exact code. Both wiretap and Richard equate to 43. And Nixon resigned in 74, 43 years prior to 2017, and the Nixon-Trump comparisons. Let's now decode Tricky Dick's name. Richard equals 128. Nixon equates to 59. Richard Nixon equals 187 in the reverse ordinal cipher. Richard equals 43. Nixon 31. So Richard Nixon equals 74 in the reduction cipher. He resigned in 74. So we'll have more on that later. More later. Having established the significance of 187 in DC, there's only one other number that is more important, and that is 47. Not only is 47 the most important number to DC, it is the most important number in this entire study because the two digits comprise the number. Because the two digits comprising the number are sacred. Now, absolutely. I want to make sure I get this reading perfect here. The number 4 represents foundation, and the number 7 represents divinity, as well as completeness. The number practically reads as the complete package. In Hebrew, Elohim also equates to 47, as does Judaism, matching the year 47 when Israel was recognized as a nation by the United Nations. Further, there is a mathematical relationship between these two numbers. The numbers dividing into 4, which are 1 and 2, and 4 sums to 7. And 7 alone is the 4th prime number. Now, having said that, let's see how relevant words to DC equate to 47. Let me see that I'll read that right. Now, having said that, let's see how relevant words to DC equate. Oh, I got it. How relevant words equate to DC and equate to 47. We'll begin with DC. All right. DC is the number D. The letter D is 23. C is 24. This is in reverse ordinal, and that equates to 47. Government in reverse reduction equals 47. Authority in reduction equals 47. President in reduction equals 47. White House in reverse reduction equals 47. Republican in reduction equals 47. Wig, W-H-I-G, equals 47 in the ordinal cipher. Democrat equals 47 in reverse reduction. Trump equals 47 reverse ordinal. Twitter equals 47 reverse reduction. Trump, Twitter. 407 years ago, President Lincoln, think about it. I like that. Awesome, Zach. You're absolutely right. Boy, 407 years ago. Man, not coincidentally, on the night of the rigged election, Donald Trump was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel, just like his Kabbalah teacher must have once taught him when he was being groomed for his future role as puppet dictator Orange. For another 47, going back in the history, DC was designed by a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, L. Enfant, and that's L with an apostrophe, E-N-F-A-N-T. So L Infant, or El Enfant. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name, but he was from France, the same land that Lady Liberty traveled from. Using the ordinal method, France also sums to 47, one of many New World ordinations sporting the very Masonic red, white, and blue. Absolutely. France equals 47, equates to 47 in the ordinal cipher. In the Freemason logo, the compasses used for composing circles, as you once used in your geometry class, that rests above the G, the seventh letter is on top of the square. Another tool for making right angles. Also from geometry and used often by architects, contains another hidden tribute to 47. If you measure the right angle of the compasses in the logo, it is resting on 47. Okay. The reason why has to do with the measurement of time on this planet we call Earth. The Tropic of Cancer in the north and the Tropic of Capricorn in the south are at the respective coordinates of 23.5 degrees north and 23.5 degrees south, which is a distance of 47 degrees apart. Wow. These tropics are used to measure solstices, which determine summer and winter for the respective hemispheres. Appropriately, the word time equates to 47 using the ordinal method. So does Ohio, where Trump's GOP convention was hosted. Time equates to 47 in the ordinal. Ohio equates to 47 as well in the ordinal cipher. For a couple more crucial notes on the compasses set at 47 degrees, the circle at the top is referred to as the pole star, Polestar. It's known as the pole star within Masonry. Pole star shares the gematria of 47 using the reverse reduction method, and it is in relation to an important mathematical problem that is taught with Masonic lodges, known as the 47th problem of Euclid, spelled Euclid. The Greek mathematician who is known as the father of geometry. The problem entails how to build a perfectly square foundation using a rope, anchor points, and the North Star, or in Masonry, the pole star. Using reduction gematria, foundation also sums to 47. Pole star would be 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 equates to 47 in the reverse reduction cipher. Okay. Now, the word foundation also equates to 47 in the reduction cipher. It is for this reason that modern Freemasonry was established June 24th, 1717, with the opening of Premier Grand Lodge of England. It was a date with numerology of 47. So that would be 6th month, 24th day, 1717. So you would add 6 plus 24 plus 17 and you get 47. So 6, 24, 17 equates to 6 plus 24 plus 17 equals 47. So yeah, everything is done by this code. Everything. It is also for this reason the cornerstone of Washington, D.C. was laid on September 18, 1793, a date with a life lesson number of 47, calculated as follows. So this is how you get the life lesson number. So 9, 18, 17, 93, you would do 9 plus 18 plus 1 plus 7 plus 9 plus 3. 1793. And that equates to 47. Later, we will learn more about the Catholic and Jesuit influence over Washington, D.C. But for now, I want you to know that Vatican City was founded on February 11th, 1929, and for the same reasons, the cornerstone of Washington, D.C. was laid on a date with numerology of 47. And for the same reasons, the cornerstone of Washington, D.C. was laid on a date with numerology 47. Wow. Consider February 11th can be expressed as 211. Much like, 2/11. It can be expressed as 2/11, much like 211, which is the 47th prime number. Further, Vatican has reverse reduction gematria of 47, and February 11th is the 42nd day of the year, connecting to the reduction gematria of Freemason, signing to 42, and the reverse reduction gematria of Jesuit. Consider February 11th can also be expressed as 11/2, like 112, and the Jesuits operate in 112 countries. In chapter 4, you will learn how Mason equates to 211 in Jewish gematria. Okay, so the word Vatican in the reverse reduction equate to 47. Freemason in reduction cipher equates to 42. Jesuit in the reverse reduction also equates to 42. And the date 2/11/29 equates to 2 plus 11 plus 29 equals 42. Wow. Continuing on, if you pay attention to headlines, you will see how often the number 47 is used ritualistically in the capital city and elsewhere. For example, on February 7th, 2018, a date with numerology of 47, because you get 4 plus 7 plus 20 plus 18 equals 47, which happened to be 47 days before Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi's 78th birthday, March 26. She gave the longest speech in the history of the nation on the floor of Congress. In chapter 11, you will learn the significance of her being 77 years old at the time of the speech and why it matters that DC is on the 77th meridian west. The topic she was talking about on February 7th, 2018 was the Dreamers program. I bet you can guess the gematria of Dreamers. Dreamers, you guessed it, equates to 47 in the reduction cipher, and the letter S equates to 10. Wow. Coming back to the point about foundation, do you think it is any coincidence the United States of America was established on July 4th, a date expressed as 4/7, like foundation, or 7/4? On the subject of 74, let us decode some relevant words that go with the date. The 4th of July, Independence Day. Supposedly, we became a free nation on that date. I think what they meant was a Freemason nation. Holiday equates to 74 in ordinal. Independence Day equates to 74 in the reduction cipher. And George Washington equates to 74 in reverse reduction. The word free equates to 74 reverse ordinal. The word Masonic equals 74 in the ordinal cipher. Gematria equals 74 ordinal. English equals 74 in ordinal. Hebrew equals 74 in reverse reduction. H equates to 10, and E equates to 22. Jewish equates to 74 in ordinal. Gematria is predominantly a Jewish practice. Occult equals 74 in ordinal. Occult means hidden like a secret. Suckers. Related. Let us decode the name Euclid and the word square, since it is his 47th problem. Wow. That has to do with creating a perfectly square foundation. As you'll see, his name is a perfect match with the word square. So Euclid equals 27 in reduction, and square equals 27 in reduction as well. Wow. For the record, 27 is the product of 3 cubed, or 3 times 3 times 3. In Masonic lore, the compasses in their logo signifies the motto, circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds. Appropriately, using reverse reduction gematria, the motto sums to 333. Please practice and verify yourself. In chapter 4, you'll learn how the name L'Enfant plan also equates to 333 in what is known as Jewish gematria, the name of the plan by the Frenchman L'Enfant, who designed Washington D.C. and in doing so made a very specific intersection come to the 47th angle that points directly to the White House. This also ties in with the establishment of Israel, which was recognized as a nation November 29th, 1947, the 333rd day of the year by the United Nations. To say these people are obsessed is a severe understatement, because they use these numbers to create a false reality, false history every day. And that's just something I'm adding because, man, this book just gets me, man, on a different wavelength. When you know that this stuff is done by man, it's not done by a prophecy. These people are creating. Anyway, that's my little rant. I leave it be. You still make up your own mind from listening to this information. But please, please, please go to Zachary K. Hubbard's YouTube channels and get his book Letters and Numbers. And I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video, you can go to his webpage, gematriaeffect.news, and purchase his latest book. You can pre-order it. It is called Number Games, and that book is magnificent as well. So anyway, moving on. I'm almost done with the second chapter, so I'm going to continue on going to the next paragraph. Continuing on the path of geometry, gematria, and the nation's capital city, here are some more crucial points concerning Washington, D.C., even more deeply to the code. If we decipher the name Washington using the reduction method, it sums to 49, same as Donald J. Trump, his common author name. As we'll get to, the release of his books were synced with his planned presidency, as was the show The Apprentice, in addition to a number of other TV programs he participated in over the years, dating back to 1984, when he became a recognized celebrity in media. That was 33 years before taking D.C. Washington in reduction cipher equates to 49. Donald J. Trump in the reduction cipher also sums to 49. Recall the number 227, which relates to pi, and the circle is the 49th prime number. For the record, ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry, which again is headquartered in Washington, sums to 227 in reverse reduction. Even more, using the reduction method, geometry sums to 45, sort of like how Donald Trump is the 45th president. Never mind, he was announced as president-elect on November 9th, 2016, the 27-year anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, having reduction gematria of 45 and ordinal gematria of 108, just the same as the word geometry. Think about it. Mr. Donald, I want a wall, Trump, number 45 on November 9th. In chapter 4, you'll learn how the name Donald sums to 119. And we'll revisit his ad from 2009 talking to little sheep with the numbers 11 and 9 right on their side about being born for the job while wearing the same suit he wore for selection night. It was a Serta mattress ad. Just perfect. Berlin. The word Berlin equates to 33. Wall equates to 12. Berlin Wall in reduction cipher equates to 45. 12 plus 33, 45. Berlin equates to 60. Wall equates to 48. So the Berlin Wall equates to 108 in the ordinal cipher. Geometry in the reduction cipher equates to 45. For another good example, months later, on October 8, 2017, a date written 10/8, a lot like the symmetrical 108 gematria of geometry, Trump's vice president was the top news story for walking out of an NFL game in his home state of Indiana with the Colts hosting the 49ers. Please note, the name Mike Pence sums to 45 in reduction gematria as well as reverse reduction. Perfect for the right-hand man of the 45th president and pairing nicely with the geometry perfect date. On a related note, if you recall the first accomplishment of the Trump-Pence ticket, Trump-Pence ticket, it was saving the jobs at Carrier, summing to 45 in Indiana as well, Pence's home state. Something you can gather by being aware of this code is that corporations are part of this agenda and which aren't. Oh, okay. Something you can gather by being aware of this code is what corporations are part of this agenda and which are not, which aren't. Which the latter are pretty much just your local mom and pop shops at this day and age. Wow. So all the major corporations are a part of this agenda. Absolutely. Just wait until we talk about some of the coding of corporate titans, such as McDonald's and Burger King. Back on point. Let us decode the name of the VP to number 45, Mike Pence, forwards and backwards. So the name Mike Pence equates to 45 in reduction, and the name Mike Pence equates to 45 in reverse reduction. Carrier equates to 45 in reduction. Wow. As for the October 8th game Pence attended, he reportedly left early because Donald instructed him to through a tweet due to players on both teams taking a knee during the national anthem. Part of an ongoing feud with the president, highly publicized through Twitter and the mainstream media. By the time the curtains closed on the game, the final score was 26-23, with the hometown Colts winning in a game that totaled to the very fitting points 49 to the very fitting 49 points again over the 49ers. Wow. From last chapter, recall that POTUS, P-O-T-U-S, President of the United States acronym, POTUS, tweet, and flag equate to 26. The winning score, winning score was 26. Wow. These people. Tying in, using reverse reduction, America sums to 49. And using reverse ordinal, NFL sums to 49 as well. I wish I could say this was coincidence. For you sports fans out there, if you're putting your hearts into these games, they're well-planned theater, without exception, that are constantly tied in with the mainstream narrative being pushed in the news. Think about the New England Patriots after it was a New York Jet that ended Drew Bledsoe, which gave rise to Tom Brady. A New York Jet that hit the Twin Towers. Oh man. If not, just wait. America equals 49 in reverse reduction. Washington equals 49 in reduction. Bald eagle equals 49 in ordinal. The Eagles by itself, E-A-G-L-E-S, equals 49 in ordinal. Wow. NFL equals 49 reverse ordinal. Super Bowl equals 49 in reverse reduction. For a little more depth and clear examples of sports being scripted by the code, it was the 49ers, named after the gold rush of 1849, that hosted the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl was February 7th, 47. No, not 47. My bad. That Super Bowl was February 7th, 2016, on the 38th day of the year, where gold sums to 38 using the ordinal method. Gold equals 7 plus 15 plus 12 plus 4 equals 38. Following the pattern, the losing team was the Panthers, 38 in reduction cipher. To the team from the 38th state, Colorado, where Colorado equates to 38 using the reduction method. If you weren't aware of my work back then, I predicted in October of 2015, months before the game was played, that the Denver Broncos would defeat the Carolina Panthers, Von Miller would be the MVP, and there would be a tribute to the Black Panther Party on YouTube and on my blog. And I'm sure you can go back and read that blog that he wrote. His blogs are still up. At the time, my prediction tied in with a more important discussion, the race war narrative being pushed in the media, something that has been an ongoing mainstream narrative up to the writing of this book, and it is still going on now. Every day, some crazy stuff, dating back to the death of Trayvon Martin, and really long before that. I also pointed out then that in history, Huey P. Newton established the Black Panther Party in the Bay Area, and the star of the Carolina Panthers wore a Black Panther on the side of his helmet and was also named Newton. What I didn't know in October was it would be Beyonce wearing the halftime costume that made the BPP headlines. What was that? Black Panther Party headlines. Or that the weeks before the Super Bowl, there would be a hit TV show about O.J. Simpson, the former NFL star, and his white Bronco chase. In the race war chapter, we'll get to why it was Beyonce who was specifically chosen, and more on that OJ TV show. For my efforts in decoding the planned game before it transpired, I had a feature article written about me by the USA Today's Big Lead, dated January 27, 2016, titled mockingly, "Conspiracy Theorist Proves Freemasons rigged AFC and NFC championship games. Written by Ryan Phillips. At the publishing of this book, that article is still available, but because Google censored all of my content from their platforms, including YouTube, which happened days after announcing I was finishing this book, you cannot watch the videos with the information and predictions, which were once linked to the Big Leads online article. That was 2 weeks before all 3 of my predictions were proven correct in the most convincing of fashion, as we'll uncover in depth in the chapter on sports rigging. Since then, I have called many more scripted championships from collegiate to professional across many different sports, and soon you will know how to do the same. I've also called the death of Prince and numerous Back to the game. Vice President Mike Pence attended on October 8th, and for another riddle hidden in plain sight. The 49ers fell to 0-5, much like the reflection of 50, the number of the Super Bowl hosted by the 49ers that was considered the golden anniversary and the reflection of their once perfect 5-0 Super Bowl record as a team. San Francisco equals 50 in reduction. Super Bowl equates to 50 in reduction when S is 10. America equals 50 in ordinal. Donald equals 50 in ordinal. Of course, the 49ers were the team to be shamed in this NFL player kneeling storyline because it was a San Francisco 49er, Colin Kaepernick, who had grown out an afro for the first time in his career, like a throwback member of the Black Panther Party. Yes, oh my goodness, just in time for his new kneeling routine circa 2016 that began the storyline, which has grown continuously ever since. Not by coincidence, using reduction gematria, both Colin Kaepernick and Black Panther Party equate to 74, a number that signifies Masonic as covered. Of course, the Freemasons are the ringleaders of this made-for-television circus that couldn't look any more absurd, especially when you can read and interpret the code. Hallelujah. Because I can. If you haven't seen Colin's afro, it is very circus-like. And that is no put down to afros. It is only stating a fact about this highly contrived narrative. I should also note that Oakland, California, where the Black Panther Party was established, equates to 74 in reduction gematria. The mathematics for each of the names follows. Black equals 11. Panther equals 37, party equals 26. So the phrase Black Panther Party equals 74. 11 plus 37 plus 26, you get 74. Oakland 22 equals 22. California equates to 52. Oakland, California equals 74 in reduction. Colon 26. Flag equals 26 as well in ordinal. Colts, C-O-L-T-S. Colts beat 49ers with 26 points. Kaepernick equals 48. So Colin Kaepernick equals 74. In that same game, Pence attended. The quarterback of the winning Colts capped off the Geometry Gematria tribute by throwing for 314 yards. Our number bringing us back to pi as we began with 3.14. Boy, these bastards. Okay, I lost my spot. Okay, again, as we covered to start the chapter, 22 divided by 7, written as words, 22 divided by 7 equates to 314. And as we just learned, 227 is the 49th prime, which was the total sum of points for the game over the 49ers on the geometry perfect date. When you know the code, you see how these types of riddles take place on the daily. As I have taught my followers since 2013, professional sports are scripted from the final score of the box score as the rule, never the exception. Just watch. The next game on TV will prove this to be the case. Mark my words. The primetime games are always blatant. For one of many other examples on the subject of 108 in sports, a geometry tribute in recent NBA history was with the star player Stephen Curry. It is he who has a March 14th birthday. March 14th, 1988 birthday, celebrated as Pi Day 3/14, a celebration that began in 1988 and his birthday year. In 2017, he signed a record high NBA contract exactly 108 days after his 29th Pi Day birthday. Geometry equals 108. 108 ordinal and reverse ordinal. To take it further, put your newly learned skills to the test and see which of the 4 base ciphers pi sums to 29 in. Excuse me. You might surprise yourself how quickly you learn which letters equate to what numbers just by using the code in examining the sports page or daily news headlines. And to make sure the point is understood, there is no more perfect year in his life that his record contract by the numbers could have come. As we'll get to in the sports chapter, there were numerous and significantly more important tributes to Pi in the championship season that came before the contract, including him scoring 29 on his 29th Pi Day B-Day birthday. All right. Stephen Curry also brings us back to Donald Trump and the flag. Stephen Curry was disinvited from the White House as the past NBA champion, an annual tradition on Twitter by Trump because of Curry's remarks towards the president after Trump asked NFL owners to fire protesting players. Think about the Apprentice. You're fired. These 2 events transpired on the same day, September 23rd, 2017, a date most commonly written 23/9, something like 239. That was no coincidence because the U.S. flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street in Philadelphia. And when Donald Trump was selected as president of the United States, the flag was 239 years old. Again, Trump and the flag share the same June 14th birthday. Even better, 239 is the 52nd prime number, and this feud between Trump and the NFL began in the season of Super Bowl 52, which is to be hosted in Minnesota, having reverse reduction gematria of 52 as well. So let me read that again. Okay. Who was the feud between? Okay, even better. 239 is the 52nd prime number, and this feud between Trump and the NFL began in the season of Super Bowl 52, which is to be hosted in Minnesota, having reverse reduction gematria of 52 as well. In chapter 4, you'll learn how the word flag also equates to 52. Also relevant, Stephen Curry plays for the Golden State Warriors, who are originally from Philadelphia. In fact, on his 29th birthday, Pi Day, he defeated Philadelphia with, as mentioned, 29 points. Okay, almost done with chapter 2. So here we go. And just so you don't feel like I'm picking on Trump, let's talk about the guy before him, Obama, or as I call him, Obama. Just as every reported and televised action of Trump is scripted theater. The same was true for Obama, all the way back to George Washington. On September 23rd, 2015, a date with numerology of 47, 9 plus 23 plus 15 equals 47, Obama hosted Pope Francis. Francis equals 47 in reverse reduction. Vatican equals 47 in reverse reduction. And Obama hosted Pope Francis at the White House, knowing 239, like 23/9, is the 52nd prime. This was the perfect date. Pope equals 52. NWO for New World Order. NWO equals 52 in ordinal. White House, 52 in reduction. President, 52, reverse reduction. Government, 52 in reduction. Authority is 52 in reverse reduction. And Pope is 52 in ordinal. Skip that. On that same date, September 23rd, New Year's Day of the French Republican calendar, the Pope began speaking on the White House lawn at precisely 9:23 a.m. 9:23 a.m. For the record, 23 is the 9th prime number. Also intriguing, September 23rd is the 266th day of the year, and Pope Francis is the 266th Pope in the history of the Catholic Church. In light of the number 266, think about mankind being created in the 26th verse on the 6th day. There is a lot more to the story, especially on the subject of 52 and the Pope and the Catholic Church and the New World Order, but we'll save it for later. For now, we'll close with the number that connects the language with the stars above, with the keepers of this knowledge who set up shop in Vatican City and Washington, D.C., among other places. Before we get there, please understand the English language and the Gregorian calendar, the latter of which was created by the Catholic Church, are part of one cohesive system. It was at the same historical period English was being standardized as a 26-letter alphabet that the Gregorian calendar was replacing the Julian calendar throughout the world, converting the new year from the spring to the dead of winter, a very illogical thing to do. If this has never dawned on you before, the reason New Year's was traditionally in the spring is because that is when life around us becomes anew, from new flora and fauna to spring chickens. In other words, the old calendar was in sync with life, and the current calendar is paying tribute to death, which is not by accident. Far from it. Death, as will become understood, is a very ritualistic and important thing to the cabal, a means of control for the tyrants who momentarily rule over we the people and get away with murder plus more. Now for the closeout and clincher. It is the number 58 that brings it all together. We'll start by decoding alphabetic in light of the Phoenicians who gave us the first. Alphabetic equals 58 in reverse reduction. Phoenician equals 58 in reduction. Okay, let me see how many more pages I have into the next chapter. Okay, look like I have 1, 2, and 3. I got 3 more pages here. Yes, so we'll get through these next 3 pages. And then that will conclude chapter 2. So it's a little over 2 hours. All right. In the time of the Phoenicians was the same historical period the zodiac became understood, which was this. I'm sorry, I messed that up. In the time of the Phoenicians was the same historical period the zodiac became understood, which was the time. I gotta take this call. You know what? I will finish the last 3 pages of this book in a few minutes. Can I pause this? And if not, I will finish this phone call and then I will come back and finish these last 3 pages of this book. Thank you, and have a good evening. And I'll be back in a few minutes to finish these last 3 pages. Thanks.